Well, good day, everybody. Welcome to the Bible in a Year 2021. And today we're looking at, it's day 130. And we're looking at, yay, 130, way to go. We're looking at Psalms 50, 53, 60, and 75. And I apologize if the sound is not as good as has been in the past. I am trying out different microphones, and this one is it's a new computer I received, so I'm just testing out the onboard microphone. I actually have a better microphone coming yet, so just trying new things here. So going forward, just here, looking at Psalm 50. This is a really significant psalm. I'm hoping that there's a number of things that you notice from it. In verses 8 to 10, we see here what we have to be careful about. When we put in systems, we can make the systems more important than what they actually represent. So, for instance, communion. Communion can become more important than the relationship that it actually represents. Baptism can become more important than the actual moment of salvation. And so we have here the sacrifices, which have become a religious thing, which people are doing without the relationship. So we read here in verses 8 to 10, I'm not punishing you for your sacrifices or for your entirely burnt offerings, which are always before me. I won't accept bulls from your house or goats from your corrals, because every forest animal already belongs to me, as do the cattle on 1,000 hills. So this whole idea, this religious thing had come in to play, where people were thinking that they were actually feeding God, that Yahweh actually needed these things. And it's like, you're not giving anything to me that I don't already own. Like, it all belongs to me. It's all mine. So we see then that what he's really getting across is that the relationship is so much more than the sacrifices. The sacrifices were to enable relationship. They removed sin. They allowed people to actually approach Yahweh. Now we have Jesus, who became the sacrificial lamb, who took his place as the high priest, and there's no more sacrifice. It's all been paid for. It's done. It's finished. But here we read in verses 14 to 15, offer God a sacrifice of thanksgiving. That's a relationship thing of thanksgiving. Come in and give thanksgiving. Fulfill the promises you made to the Most High. See, this is relationship thing. I promise to love you, to be dedicated to you, to serve you, to serve no other gods. Just like, yeah, stick to those guys. That's about relationship. Cry out to me whenever you are in trouble. Like, rely on me. Rely on me is what he's saying. Like, I'm here for you. Like, this is the relationship we have. I've given you all these promises. You come to me when you're in trouble. Don't go anywhere else. I will deliver you, he says. Then you will honor me. So then we go into verses 22 to 23. And here we see very clear that Yahweh is wanting relationship. So he says, so consider this carefully, all you who forget God, or I'll rip you to pieces with no one to deliver you. That's that fear aspect of it, that you respect electricity or you're going to get burned. And this is the whole thing. This is to do with the people who have relationship with him, who have made this covenant, who have made these promises, and they're forgetting about him. They're not fulfilling those promises. And he says, like, you guys be careful, consider this carefully. All of you who have forgot, because there's consequences for you breaking this covenant that we have together. The one who offers a sacrifice of thanksgiving is the one who honors me. And that sacrifice of thanksgiving, it represents relationship. Understand, that's what's being stressed here, relationship. And it is to the one who charts the correct path that I will show divine salvation. Yeah, that's important for us today. So understand that this whole thing that we have with him is about the relationship. It's not about what you can do for him. It's not what he can do for you. It is the fellowship. It is his presence. It's your presence with him, his with yours. And that he just enjoys you. And Jesus went to the cross so that you could enter into this relationship with him. It's not about the sacrifice. It's not about the tithes and the offerings. Those are just symbols of obedience. And obedience comes from a place of love. So if you're not doing these things from a place of love and relationship, then they're absolutely useless. So then we go on to Psalm 53 and verse 1 here. And this has to be, in this day and age, this has to be absolutely clear. It's the Creator who defines what is good. He can. This is the thing. It seems so simple, and yet he's the one who designed everything. He's the one who gave it function. He's the one who says what the rules are, how things work, and what parameters, what lines not to cross because you're going into a place that you were not designed for, and so on. So we have to understand that it's Yahweh who defines what is good. We don't. He does. He defines what is good. He defines what is evil. He defines what is right. He defines what is wrong because he's the Creator. That is his privilege. That's what he gets to do. We're only the creation. And whatever label he puts, whatever he says, that if we're to walk in fellowship with him, if we're to have this union with him, then we have to come into alignment with what he says. So fools say in their hearts, this is verse 1, there's no God. They are corrupt and do horrible deeds. Not one of them does anything good because they say there's no God and they're doing whatever they want to do. Verses 2 and 3, understand that this is dealing with the people who are not believers. Okay, that's what he's talking about here, people who are not believers. God looks down from heaven on humans to see if anyone is wise, to see if anyone seeks God. But all have turned away. Everyone is corrupt. No one does good, not even one person. So he's not describing the believers here. He's describing the rest of the world. He's describing those who have created gods and built their own religious systems and done all these things, worshiping demons and what have you. So this is what he's looking at. Nobody is honestly, sincerely looking for him at all. And remember that Israel was chosen to represent him, was chosen that he could reveal himself to the world. But there was creator worship before Israel. We know that because of Noah. We know that because of Abraham and so on. So in Psalm 60 verse 12. This is a psalm of instruction. If just the little bit of write up that I have here, just let me read it to you. It says this psalm is a bit different, written as a form of instruction, as a reminder to Israel's army that they are nothing without Yahweh. It reminds of where they had been in total shambles until they started relying on Yahweh. David did not want them to put their confidence in the wrong place. When they consider how mighty they've become, how kings are bowing down to them, David just did not want this army to put all their trust in their might, their shields, their horses, or whatever they're using. That they had to understand they only have victory because of Yahweh. So we see here in verse 12, give us help against the enemy. Human help is worthless. Human help is worthless. With God, we will triumph. He's the one who will trample our adversaries. And that's where David wants them to remain, is focused on that. He doesn't want to lose it. He knows what happened to Saul, and he doesn't want to go in that direction. And then Psalm 75, we see has some prophetic elements to it. In verses 2 and 3, God says, when I decide the time is right, I will establish justice, just so. The earth and all its inhabitants will melt, but I will keep its pillars steady. And this is really talking about at the end when the old is past, the old earth, the old heaven is past, and the new earth and the new heaven is established, and it becomes one place. And so we have here some things that aren't mentioned until Revelation. In verses 6 and 7, we see that again, this idea that justice is defined by Yahweh. It's defined and established by Yahweh. We cannot establish his justice. We can try all we want, but he establishes it. He establishes it in the hearts of people. It's him. He does it. He's not going to do it through governments. He's going to do it by changing hearts. So he defines justice and he establishes justice. And it says here, because what exalts someone doesn't come from the east or west. It's not from the south either. Rather, it is God who is the judge. He brings this person down, but that person he lifts up. So it's him. And we need to be thankful for him. And it's not us. We're not doing this ourselves. It's not us. In verse 8, again, we're dealing with the final judgment here. I get a bit of the prophetic here. And it says, indeed, there's a cup in the Lord's hand full of foaming wine mixed with spice. He will pour it out, and all of the earth's wicked people must drink it. They must drink every last drop. Yeah, so the final judgment there is being brought up in the Psalms. So there you have it. So that's it for today. I hope the background noise wasn't too much as people came and went. Sorry about that. It is an open mic. Hopefully our new mic will be a directional mic, and we'll be able to avoid that sort of stuff. So thank you very much for joining me today. I pray that you are taking a little bit more away with you so that intimacy will continue to increase for you with Yahweh. And you guys have a blessed and wonderful day. And thank you for being part of this with me. God bless.